Hello guys, and welcome to the 22nd episode of the Kendall's Creations Knitting Podcast. I'm your host Kendall, and we have a whole lot to talk about today because 1, Christmas just happened, and 2, I'm on winter break, so I get to spend most of my time just knitting. But this is also going up on New Year's Eve, so happy New Year's Eve. It's the last podcast going up on the last day of the year, and I'm recording this at 9:40 a.m. just so I know that it'll be up by tonight, because this is gonna be long. There's a whole lot I need to talk about as I'm frantically looking around my bed at all of the things I need to talk about. Okay, so let's start with finished objects. I think I'll go in order of when I finished them. Hold up. Because there's a couple. So we have, I never weave in this end, but I will. This magenta pair of socks, which is knit with Cascades Heritage. I don't know the color. I lost the band a long time ago. But I finished this. I don't remember when, because it was so long ago and I've done a lot since then. But I finished this in order to cast on these pair. And these are completely new to you guys because I didn't have the yarn when I recorded not last Friday, the Friday before that. But this is knit with Forest Lane Fiber Company's, it's their 100% non-superwash fingering weight. And this is in the color Tempest. They will not be selling any more yarn until spring of 2022, but they are a great Cleveland-based company, and as usual, they'll be linked in the description. It is this beautiful blue. It's so pretty. It's kind of washing out. It's very dark. It's a little bit darker in person, but not much. And I love how it feels. It's not as it's a lot more structured than at least this one. I think some of my other non-superwash socks are a little bit more structured. Superwash socks are a little bit more structured. But it just has a very different feel, and I love it. It's also, a little bit bigger, width-wise than my purple socks. But I think that's just because this yarn is a little bit thicker. I tried it on. They still fit my feet great. And so I'm not worried about it. And then, yes, so all 4 of the Musselburghs were finished last time. But I did knit one more. This was knit in Big Twist Tweed in the gray. And this one was for me. And I wore it on Christmas along with my red sweater right here. And I also wore, these socks. So I wore a lot of hand knits on Christmas Eve. But we have those, and then we have, I'm going to put this over here. One more finished object, which I think you guys have seen. I'm pretty sure y'all have seen. I know Instagram just saw it last night, but you guys, it looks a lot smaller. But this is the My Little Secret top, I'm pretty sure, by Jessie Made Designs. Her Ravelry will be linked down below. And then the yarn I used for this is Lion Brand Cotton Candy Blend, which is a discontinued yarn. I don't know where the rest of it is, but this is my first time knitting, first off, any I-cord, let alone, she uses this double knit I-cord, and so that was fun. Again, if you guys follow me on Instagram, I was complaining so much about how long this took, because it just felt like it was taking absolutely forever, but I like it. I knit this in the size medium with a 156 stitch count for this part. It was my first time, one, doing a thing that's all ribbing, and two, like, casting off stitches in a very long time. Because, especially, like, even with sweaters, I bind off my stitches, and so I'm taking my tapestry needle and, like, sewing it off because I'm done knitting. But with this one, I didn't, because I cast off, like, all of these stitches, but I still had to knit the front part. And so then I had to do, like, the, you know, knit two, slip one over the first loop, and then, like, I had a purl one because it was a 3x1 rib, which also made it really easy to count how many stitches I had cast off, because I would just see, like, how many. I'll be like, okay, so I have one knit. I'll be like, I'll just go on the back because it's easier. I'm like, okay, so I've cast off 3, 6, 9, 12, yada, 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 yada. Also, I made the top little 1x1 rib part an inch long instead of half an inch. I don't mind. I also made this an inch shorter than what is recommended, just because, one, I kind of wanted to, like, move on to the next part, and two, I don't mind super short tank tops. It's also not going to be, like, there, but it'll be, like, here. And so, like, my belly button is right here. And so, like, it comes to, like, the bottom of my rib cage, which is pretty common for, like, how I end up wearing things, especially because you can see I slouch a lot, and then it kind of, like, meets my pants when I slouch. But I had a lot of fun knitting this. It's very squishy. It is a lot of fun. I will be making more, as you will see momentarily. I also used the Kitchener stitch to connect the I-cord with the back, and I think for my next one I'll do the 3 needle bind off, just to see whichever one I like more. And I'm not too, I'll go into a little bit more detail. I'm not too concerned with how the bind off looks on my next one, and you'll understand it once y'all see it. So if you guys have been watching for a while, you saw when I got this yarn, I think, what is it, like, in November, maybe? I don't know. But this is Brene Velvet. I don't have the band. I have it. I ripped it off last night, and I don't remember where I put it. But it is this very royal blue color. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you will know I've had a bit of a struggle with these. So I'm currently knitting these on, let me look. Where is it? 3.25 millimeter needles. And I first tried them on 2.75. And I cast on, like, over 130 stitches, and there was just, like, no way, even if I added another, like, 20 stitches to get to the original 156, that it would fit on my body. It's just, like, wasn't possible. And then, so I went up, because this is a weight 5 yarn, and so it's a lot thicker than the DK weight that it calls for. But, oh well. It's not that big of a deal to me, especially because this was knit on my 32-inch circulars in the round. And there was, like, after the 1x1 rib was a little bit harder to do, but after I got to the 3x3, which I'm already on here, it became a whole lot easier, which I see happening again. But it also shrunk, like, a lot, obviously. Like, this, like, my body is obviously not that tiny. Like, this is, like, the end of my body, and, like, this is my belly button. So it's, like, it stretches a whole bunch. And so when I'm, like, knitting the body, I noticed until I got to about, like, here-ish, maybe a little bit higher, maybe like here, it all was constantly stretched, but once there was enough knit, it started to shrink, like, as it should, because it's ribbing. And so I'm hoping that's what happens with this one, because I really love how this feels. It looks very pretty on camera. I do have to give it that. But I think I'm about 2 inches into my 3x3 rib. Maybe a little bit more. Let's measure right now to be sure. Yep, I'm exactly 2 inches into my 3x3 rib. And this one I'm going to make a little bit longer. I also made this one a little bit shorter because I wasn't exactly 100% sure how much of the cake I had it would use. And I still had enough to where I could have made it longer comfortably, but I didn't want to risk it. But with this one, I don't really care as much because I know that this is a whole bunch of yarn, and especially because this isn't discontinued, I won't care too much if the colors are a little off. Somebody must have walked by my house. But with this one, since it was discontinued, even though I had gotten another cake, I wanted to save the second cake for something really special. Don't know what it is. So I wanted to make sure I could fit this whole top inside that one cake, which I was able to do. But yes, this is what I have. I cast this on yesterday, and it's going. I've noticed it feels a lot weirder to hold my needles with this yarn, but I think that's because it's not there's no give. The give is non-existent. Here, literally. No, not a single little bit of give. And so what I knit it as, whether I knit tight or loose, that's what it is. But yes, my beginning of run marker is also blue, which maybe wasn't the best of decisions, but since I can feel it and I obviously have to pass it over to my right needle, not too concerned. But I'm hoping, so I go back to school on the 3rd. I'm hoping to get which is Monday. Yay. I'm hoping to get all, if not most, of the 3x3 ribbing until the casting off. So I want to get to maybe, and it's going to be about an inch longer, so hopefully I'll get to the point where I'm about to cast off before I go back to school, because I know once I go back to school, my knitting will slow down a lot. But that's fine. School is more important than knitting. Never thought I would utter those words, but I have. And so that is my first whip. My second one, y'all have seen before, and there's honestly no progress, maybe one row since the last time you saw, and it's this blue sock. I don't know why, I just haven't been, I feel because I knit the hat, I knit these socks in 3 days each, and then I knit the hat, and then I finished this top, and then I started that top, and I feel I just want to be knitting other things besides socks, and because I kind of rushed my last socks, I didn't get to sit and enjoy them as much, and so I'm going to wait to start that. Now, acquisitions. There's a lot of yarn and knitting related acquisitions going on here, but this yarn I got yesterday. This is for yet another My Little Secret crop, mainly because it calls for cotton yarn, and this yarn is cotton, and I don't like how most cotton yarns feel. They feel very stiff and rough to me. But when I saw this in the store and I felt it, it did not feel stiff and rough, and it still doesn't. So this is Lion Brand Pima Cotton in Dragonfly. These are 186 yards per 100 grams. So I got 2 of them because I think my cake was 270 yards per 140 something grams. I don't know, but this is more than enough. And this is the same weight. Actually, no, this is a little bit thicker than this one, but I'm still going to use the same needle size because I do, that's the wrong side for you guys, kind of want it to when it's I think I want everything to be a little bit tighter together. And so if I use slightly thicker yarn, I think I'll get that. Especially because there is no consistent gauge with this because my ribbing, it's not the neatest, and I know that, and I don't really care, but like there, and there, and when there's like some bigger holes, I'm hoping that it'll be covered up a little bit more. If I use thicker yarn than it would using thinner yarn, but I got these. They are super soft, and they're on sale at Joann's, and my mommy picked them up for me. Since I am sick, yes, I am one of the unlucky few who got sick over Christmas. I tested positive the day after Christmas. Fun time. So I don't get to kiss my boyfriend on New Year's Eve. The one year I have a boyfriend, I don't get to kiss him, but it's fine. It's fine. Now, I had gone to Hobby Lobby to get some stuff for like Christmas gifts, and I found this little bag which I'm using to store yarn. This tag does not need to be here. Okay. And it says yarn is a lifestyle, which I mean same. And if you guys know, my little blue bag also has yarn in it, but that is also torn, and so I'm hoping to eventually transfer all of the yarn that's in the little blue bag into here. One, because this is see-through, and so I can see what colors I have instead of just like having to know and remember. And then I also got this yarn from Hobby Lobby. It's one of their like hand-dyed ones. The name is Marbled Teal. It's a sock weight, of course, because duh. What is the make? It does not say the fiber. Oh, 100% superwash merino wool. I'm gonna make socks out of it because duh. I seriously need to stop buying sock yarn. But whenever I buy hand-dyed yarn, I buy it in their sock weight because hand-dyed yarn is expensive. I'm a student, I don't have a job, and I'm saving up for college, so I can't really afford to buy like 4 skeins of $30 yarn. And I have an entire spreadsheet of like yarn I want that like at certain milestones I'll allow myself to get. Like I know I'm gonna allow myself to buy one thing of hand-dyed yarn from Fiber for the People for the end of my first semester of my senior year, assuming my semester grades are all A's. That does not mean my quarter grades have to be all A's though, because the way my school does things is each quarter is worth 30% of your grade. So first quarter and second quarter make up 30% each, and then your final grade is hold up. They each make up 30%, so together they make up 60%, and then your final is worth 40% of your grade. And I got all A's last quarter. I did good on most of my finals. I think I got 1B. But, like, I'm not concerned about that class at all, ever. That class, like, I know I'm good on. It's mainly, like, my calculus and my psychology and my anatomy and physiology, only because she hasn't graded stuff, but it's mainly my AP Calc and my AP Psych that I'm worried about. I'm, like, 5 points away from an A in my AP Calc class. And so we still have, like, 2 weeks in January. Our quarter ends the 14th. And so if at, like, the 10th, I'm still, like, 1 or 2 points away from an A, I might just ask him if there's anything I can do for extra credit to get, like, 4 or 5 points, because, like, I need it. Because I gotta be on that final. Which I'm not, I did a lot better than I thought I was gonna do. I got, like, an 86, and I was thinking I was gonna get, like, a high 70, low 80, and I did pretty good on that, but the A I got last quarter was, like, barely an A. I think it was, like, a 91, and so I have to, like, get an A this quarter. I don't think I have to get an A. I think I have to get, like, an 89 point, like, I think I would have to, like, an 89 at all in order for it to round up to, like, to a 90 for my semester grade. Maybe Psych, I still haven't made up my missing work. But I'm gonna do that. Hopefully. I will do it before the quarter's over. I just want a whole rant about school, and you guys don't care. I am so sorry. This is what it's like when I've been in quarantine and haven't been able to talk to my friends. I'm so sorry. But, moving on to actual podcast stuff. We got a whole box of yarn from my grandma for Christmas. So, this is all from Knit Picks. It's all Knit Picks Swish Worsted. So, this one, the color is Frosting. 7 balls, which is a sweater's quantity. I'm not taking it out of the plastic just because there's some loose balls in here. I also got 7 balls of this, which is Amethyst Heather. Got accurate for like 1 second. Oh. Come on. That's accurate. And then I have 2 balls of each of these. Electric Blue, and I think this one's Clementine. Yep, Clementine. And what I'm going to do for these ones, these are all in worsted weight. And what I'm going to do with these 2 is I'm going to eventually make a half and half Musselburgh out of these. So 1 half will be the Electric Blue and 1 half will be the Clementine. And these are also like my school's colors. But so we'll just have an orange and blue Musselburgh. If you like orange and you like blue, kaboom, this will be for sale on my Etsy eventually. And as I said before, I got 7 balls of this and 7 balls of DS. And I have one more thing that is actual yarn that my boyfriend got me from Joann's, because, or Michael's, either or, I don't know. He got me this yarn, which I thought was very interesting. This is Loops and Threads Eco Cozy, made from recycled plastic, in light gray. No clue what I'm going to make with this. It was just like a very interesting yarn. It feels a little squeaky, a little plasticky, but I don't know, I'm going to make something nice out of that. So that was my last actual thing of yarn I got. Now I do have 3 other, I think, yarn related things. First of which is this little bag. There's nothing in it. I don't know what I'm going to keep in it, but this will probably be, oh, that felt good, my new on-the-go project bag. I don't know where my other one is, but you guys have seen it before. My gray project bag. If I have bigger projects that I'm working on that I want to take with me, I might consider using this. Or if I'm like packing for a trip and I want to bring multiple projects with multiple things of yarn, there's plenty. You can't really see, but there is plenty of room for more than one project. And there's this little pocket here, here, and then some little ones, which you can't really see because of all the crinkles right here. I don't think there's any on the inside. No. But there also is this little strap in case you want to wear this as like an I don't want to say like over the shoulder bag, but essentially an over the shoulder bag instead of having to carry it, which I find very helpful because I don't like carrying things for long periods of times because I'm lazy. And why put effort into carrying it and holding it when I could just have it attached to my body, you know? Let me wrap this back up. So, the next thing I'm going to show you, I'm also saving the best for last if you can't tell. The next thing I'm going to show you is I got the Ultimate Knitting book by Vogue Knitting. Got the hardcover because I don't trust myself with paperback. But I got this. I also got the Vogue Knitting. I got a year-long Vogue Knitting magazine subscription. I just haven't gotten my first one. Don't know when I will. I don't really care. Like, I care about it. Obviously, I'm very appreciative, but, like, it's not something that, like, I need right now. You know, I know it's a subscription. I know it's a monthly thing, and I don't really care if I get the December one or the January one first. I just care that I get one. But this, I'm so excited. There's so many. I'm gonna. There's so much. There's cables. There's brioche here. Base yarn and supplies, and that I found really interesting. It teaches you a lot about like the end of like there's so many things that you can be made into yarn that I did not know could be made into yarn. Like, let's just do a little run through. There's faux fur, boucle, chainette, wool fur, chenille, I don't know, tape, wrap, marl, tweed, beaded, chine, brown, chainette, hand paint, sequin, wool. That's just like the structure, and then fibers, wool roving, llama, alpaca, acrylic, merino, recycled, cashmere, cotton, wool, yak, raffia, which is hemp, and linen, as well as kid mohair, angora, bamboo, possum. There's possum yarn. Like, I don't think I've ever heard of that in my life. Lopi, which I don't think I've ever heard of, silk, sheepland, mohair, matte cotton, surrey alpaca. And then there's like a whole metallic one, which is nylon with metallic, lace mohair with metallic, Aran mohair with metallic, and wool blend with metallic. And there's also, how do I show this? I think I just ripped the page with the ring. No. So on your, I don't have any, on your yarn labels, I'm sure you guys have seen some of these symbols, like here. And this tells you what all of the symbols mean, which really helped me because I don't know what half of those symbols, well, I didn't know what half of those symbols mean, but I now do, and I'm very surprised by some of them. Plus, oh, that's just the edge. There's different cast-ons, different cast-offs, cables, different, like, it teaches you English versus continental, and it continental. There's also some basic stitch patterns, you know, ways of joining yarn, increases, decreases, cables, like, there's everything. There's also like a, I don't want to say like sizing guide. Where is it? Oh, this one is really cool. Directional knitting. It teaches you how to knit shapes, which is so cool. I didn't know. Like, I knew it was a thing, but, like, I didn't, you know? And then there's a whole section. I'm trying to get to the beginning of it for y'all. Well, first off, there's a whole section on grafting. Cool. Because I need help with that. Because I only know how to do the Kitchener stitch from sewing up toes. There's a whole section on designing sweaters, which I thought was super cool. And I think there's another one on, like, designing accessories. That's still sweaters. That's not a different section. Yep, designing accessories, designing shawls. And then embellishments. So cool. Now, onto the gift that made me literally cry when I got it. It is the interchangeable needles from ChiaoGoo. It's the red lace ones because I use the red lace cables. Ooh, I should probably tell you what sizes there are. One of the sizes is currently in use on this. These are the short tips. I'll probably end up eventually getting the long tips too. Maybe, I don't know. I do want to finish this whole set because you come with one side done, and I want to get this whole side too, and I also want to get a couple more cables. But I have US 2 through 8, which include 2.75 millimeter, 3.25, 3.5, 3.75, 4 millimeter, 4.5, and 5 millimeters. And there's also spaces for multiples. So if I get the long set too, I could just individually buy like the longs, put them in the back, and then put the shorts like in the front one. Or I could just get 2 of like each if I'm like knitting multiple projects constantly, which but I do want to eventually get the US 9 through 15, which are 5.5, 6, 6.5, 8, 9, and 10 millimeter needles. And then it also came with your usual stitch markers. I don't really like these ones because you can't remove them. And a lot of the times when I use stitch markers, aside from beginning of round markers, which I could see how these are useful, I just prefer mine. I use them for like counting when I'm like casting on, or like with my Musselburghs, because you knit it in a tube and then start decreasing. Well, you increase into the tube, start decreasing. You have a certain number of stitches per segment for the increases, and then that goes away when you're knitting the tube, but then it comes back with the decreases. So I like to put stitch markers in. Or if I'm just overall making sure I have the same stitch count as the pattern, I use stitch markers, place them like every 20, 25, something like that. But I also got, I'm out of breath, like sizing tool, as well as like there's a little ruler. But that is useful because I did get some old hand-me-down needles that don't have the sizes written on them because they've gotten worn off over the years. And so knowing what size they are will allow me to use them. I also got cable stoppers, which are these little white guys. And then I got your standard, I forget what these are called, the little manuals in there. But you put these in, if I can get it, here to tighten it and loosen it when you're changing needle tips. And then I also got these little itty bitty baby things, which I will see if I can grab without losing. Maybe. There it is. But this little itty bitty thing is like a cable joiner, so you can join multiple cable lengths to each other and then put the needles on the ends so you have an even longer cable, which I find cool. And then I have 4 cables, one of them my 30-inch, well, my 22-inch, which makes a 30-inch with the tips, is on these needles for this project. I have 2 8-inch ones, and then I have one 14-inch one. And what I did for this one is I ended up using the interchangeable. I switched out for the interchangeable needles for this front since it is knit flat. I used my 14-inch, and then when I knit, and like, I think I used 3.75. Ooh, phone storage getting low. Good to know. I used 3.75 millimeter needles here, and then I just switched out the tip for this. And I also used the same size for the I-cord, which hindsight 2020 I will not do just to make it go faster. But yes, that is everything I got for Christmas and everything I got for myself for Christmas and all of the stuff I've made since you guys have seen me. And this is the last time you guys will see me this year. I know, corny, but I had to do it. But I will see you guys next year in 2022 in the second week of it for my 23rd podcast. I love you guys so much. Please don't forget to like and comment and subscribe and follow me on Instagram and Etsy, and all of everything I can get linked below will be linked below. But that is all for today's episode. I will see you guys whenever. Bye.